Hello and welcome. My name is Amy Rowell, and I serve AFP Southeastern Wisconsin chapter as board president. And today I am joined by Kelly, Maddie, and Shannon. All three were scholarship recipients for this year's ICON, which was held in Toronto in April. AFP ICON is an annual conference for fundraising professionals, offering an unparalleled selection of training and development opportunities, as well as networking and relationship building with peers from around the world. It is also a great opportunity to spend time in a new city. I know for me, of the 4 icons I have attended, 3 were in cities that I had never visited before. And before we get started, I'd like to ask each of our scholarship recipients to introduce themselves briefly. And we're going to get started with Kelly and then Shannon, both of whom received general chapter scholarships.
Thank you. My name is Kelly Nowakowski. I work with Lutheran Social Services of Wisconsin and Upper Michigan. I am the event and sponsorship coordinator here. I applied for this scholarship because I knew it would be a great opportunity for me. As someone who is looking to advance my career and move up within the company, I thought it would be a good opportunity to network and work with other fundraising professionals. My primary interest in attending was because this was my first time being a part of AFP. I'm a new member within the last year, and I thought this would be an awesome networking opportunity and get to know a little bit more about the fundraising profession outside of my position currently.
Hi, I'm Shannon Malnori Silbernagel, and I am the Director of Annual and Alumni Engagement and Giving at Alverno College in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I applied for the scholarship because I wanted to attend ICON for a while now, but I knew that I wouldn't be able to afford it on my own. And Alverno, being a small liberal arts college, does not have that kind of funding for professional development. So this was a great opportunity for me to be able to attend the conference and for me to personally expand my professional development. I've been in fundraising for many, many years, but I was excited to go because I knew that there's always opportunity for me to grow and learn, not only from other professionals in the industry, nationally and globally, but also network with people from within my chapter and people within other chapters as well. So I was also excited. Plus, it was in Toronto, which is one of my most favorite cities to visit.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly and Shannon. Now, Maddie, you received a Chamberlain Scholarship. I was a Chamberlain Scholar in 2019 when the conference was in San Antonio, and it was a special experience for me. As you introduce yourself, please also share with us, what does it mean to be a Chamberlain Scholar?
My name is Maddie Ashman. I am the grant and database specialist at Impact. One of the main reasons why I ended up applying for this scholarship is kind of similar to Kelly. I am new to AFP as of 2023, and I kind of came into the fundraising realm after a career change, and I really just made a commitment to myself to try to soak up every opportunity that was available. And so when this opportunity came up, it was kind of a no-brainer. I wanted to continue to gain knowledge and expertise in the field. And I think I really value the community that we have in Milwaukee of fundraisers and throughout the state of Wisconsin. But I was really excited, and my primary interest in ICON was there is a world of fundraisers out there that are doing things in innovative and new ways. And I wanted to kind of connect and network outside of our little Wisconsin bubble. So that is my reason for being interested in ICON. And then I think for me, one of my favorite events of the whole conference was the Chamberlain Scholarship ceremony. It was just a gathering before the conference even kicked off of every Chamberlain Scholar at every chapter. And it was just a really incredible environment. Everyone was a little, the anticipation was high. Everyone was really excited. And it was everyone's first time attending the conference together. So I was able to meet a lot of people at the same point in my professional career, a lot of people that were way more experienced than me, and was able to connect with them and kind of see them throughout the conference. We kind of kept tabs on each other and checked in as we went along each day. So that was really a special experience.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks, Maddie. So let's stay with you as we start to talk about the learning. Maddie, you indicated that one of your favorite sessions was the one titled leveraging logic models to elevate your grant writing and reporting prowess. And it was presented by Annalise Smith. She's the Chief Philanthropy Officer at Avow Foundation. Can you start by providing a brief recap of the session?
Yes, so Annalise really centered this entire session around how can we as development people be better partners to our program people? And so she really wanted to showcase how her organization has leveraged logic models to do this. And so the whole session was really interactive, which I enjoyed, especially after long days of sitting in conference rooms. She walked us through a lot of examples at her organization, and each step of the logic model, she walked us through their reasoning and kind of how they talk to one another on the development side and the program side, and how they came to a solution in terms of what their logic model needed to include. And then the last, I would say 3/4 of the session, she had a volunteer come up and we created a logic model for another fundraisers program. So it was a really hands-on experience. It really showed us how her thinking behind the scenes kind of played out. And I thought that was an important piece of the learning of this session.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. And I love data and I love programs, so I love that blend. As you know, gathering information from those delivering the programs and services is really important, but can also be difficult. Did Annalise share any advice for how to ease that process? Program folks are really great at delivering program,
Mhm.
but so did she share any advice?
Yeah, I would say the main thing that she shared is she really wanted to emphasize we want to maximize program people's expertise and also minimize their time invested. And I think she said that throughout the whole process, you need to be really strategic and intentional of when to bring them on board and when to really do the heavy lifting so that it's not taking time away from them doing the important work that they need to do. I think one of the most important pieces that she really emphasized too was throughout her organization, once program people really bought into the idea of being more involved in the grant writing process, that people were really starting to take ownership over the money coming in. Program people were really excited about the grants that were being received and also more excited for upcoming opportunities. And so she said it was just a lot more of a cohesive environment once they really committed to working together on this front.
Awesome. Maddie, is there anything else you'd like to share about this or any other session?
Yeah, one of the other sessions that I want to share about was a session about the AFP IDEA committee. There was a presentation from another chapter about how they implemented a fellowship program. They really wanted to increase the diversity and inclusion within their own chapter. They had some lived experiences of showing up to AFP for the first time and not feeling welcome at all. And so they really mapped out how a chapter could come in and develop this fellowship program, how much money it costs, what they kind of entailed as a menu of um, opportunities for these fellows. And it's something that being a part of the IDEA committee in our Southeastern Wisconsin chapter, I'm excited to bring back to our committee and see if it's something we can implement in the future.
Awesome. I look forward to that. We have, as you mentioned, we have a committee for our chapter and it's growing and developing. So you would be a great contact if anybody wants to learn more about that. All right. Thanks, Maddie. Kelly, you indicated that one of your favorite sessions was the one titled Show Me the Money, Securing Lucrative Sponsorships, presented by William Bryant, who's the CEO at Mobile Area Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Can you start by providing a brief recap of the session?
Sure. This session helped to identify what it takes to secure lucrative sponsorships through relationships and prospecting. Therefore, they can show you the money. William Bryant was the speaker, and he has raised over $300 million in sponsorships. To me, or for me, that is huge. I mean, that's a really big number, and I'd be happy if I hit half of that in my lifetime. So it was a really good session.
Awesome. So I'm sure it was well attended. That's something that a lot of fundraisers are interested in. What did you learn is the most important consideration when securing or pursuing a sponsorship?
There are a couple different things that are important when securing a sponsorship. I would say the most important thing is relationships. You need to build a good relationship. Williams suggested that you invite potential sponsors to the event that you would like them to eventually sponsor.
Hmm.
Building that relationship and allowing them to see what the event is will go a long way when making the ask. Know your relationship and your potential sponsor to know when to be an introvert or an extrovert.
It's really good advice. Kelly, is there anything else you'd like to share about this or any other session?
I thought a lot of the sessions were very informative, and I can't just pick another one. Like, they were all good.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Kelly. Shannon, you indicated that one of your favorite sessions was the one titled Making the Ask Using Neuroscience in Your Solicitation. It was presented by Bernard Ross, who is an internationally regarded expert on strategy and behavioral science. Give us a brief recap of that session.
Yeah, well, Bernard was an interesting person. He's very, very high energy. And Welsh, which was an interesting person to listen to and an interesting provided interesting context. And it really spoke to me. I used to be a social worker, so coming from a little different lens was interesting as well. And he spoke a lot too about not only from the donor's perspective, but also from the fundraiser perspective, and how using somebody's decision making is really what plays into getting them to donate the money. And really about how they make a decision really increases how effective you are going to be and how they're going to be effective in making their decision in how they donate and how much they donate. And what I thought was really great about it was he provided a toolbox that had 5 P's to it. And it was, I'm not going to remember them all off the top of my head, so I'm going to get to it. It was, oh no, I lost it. It was passion, proposal, preparation, persuasion, and persistence. And I've already started using it within my own practice, and it's something that I'm going to bring to my team. And it was just a really interesting way for me to even connect my previous practice as a social worker and you know, what I brought from that into my fundraising work and really link those together even stronger.
I love that. And I would imagine, especially in your position of that alumni engagement, sort of that one-on-one, this is really important. How would you sort of describe this to others who might not be familiar with it? Why is this important to have this consideration in fundraising?
I think really, especially if you look at like the alumni engagement, you have to really look at the passion part of it. The passion is there with the alums, or you hope the passion is already there with the alums. They obviously chose like their school for a reason. You hope that passion is sustained through the 4 years or 5 years of going to school there. But how do you capture that passion after they graduated and bringing them back there? So it's not only the dollars, but it's, bringing them back for programming, inviting them back to campus for events, and growing that engagement, not just through the dollars, but showing them what the students are doing, whether it be through poster presentations or forums with presidents, and really growing that organic type of work and then bringing them into the dollars after that. And Bernard did focus on that some too. And we did do some role playing, and it was like a barter system, which is something that I'm not necessarily comfortable with. I don't barter. I can ask people for money all day long, but ask me to barter with somebody and I get very, very uncomfortable. I will not do that. I don't like buying cars. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. So that was really interesting for me to really have to dig deep to be comfortable in that kind of situation. But the passion part of it was something that really resonated very, very strongly with me in this session, and something that I can bring into my daily practice of being a fundraiser, especially with working in higher ed and working with alum on a daily basis.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. Is there anything else you'd like to share about this or any other session?
Yeah, there was another session that I sat in, and now I'm not going to remember the name of it. But it was in confronting it was with a anti-racism in fundraising stuff. And it was just really interesting to listen to a panel made up a very, very diverse panel. And it just, a lot of what they said really resonated. And one of the women talking spoke about how it was Eid, which is a Muslim and Islamic holiday, and how she was really sad how she was at AFP and should have been with her family and should have been celebrating. And it really just gave me great pause on how we could have and should do better, and
Yes.
not schedule things like that on high holy holidays, whether it be a Christian high holy holiday, a Jewish high holy holiday, a Muslim or Islam high holiday, or Buddhist or whatever it be. So that really, I walked out of that session going, yeah, we should and can do better in not only fundraising, but in any profession.
Especially as fundraisers who often were scheduling events and meetings
Yeah.
and other things. It's a very, very important consideration. And I will say that it has been brought up with AFP Global before, but not as strong and as united as this year. And I do think that they definitely heard it this year. So
Yeah.
hopefully we see some changes in the future. Awesome. Thank you, Maddie, Kelly, and Shannon, for sharing your favorite learning experiences. But one of the best things about ICON is that all of the sessions are recorded and all of the slides are shared in the app and online, so you can continue to attend ICON long after you return home, either revisiting a session that you attended or tapping into a session that maybe conflicted with something else that you were looking at. But as you now know, ICON is about so much more than the learning. So outside of that learning, what was your favorite part of the entire experience, either indirectly related to ICON or your exploration of Toronto or otherwise? We'll start with Shannon, then Kelly, then Maddie.
Well, I have a couple. One of my very best friends lives an hour and 15 minutes away in Madison, yet we never get to see each other. But we were both in Toronto. So we got to have dinner together a couple times, and that was wonderful. Like, so that was great that I got to spend time with her. And then I got to go to a Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game, and I absolutely love hockey, and the Maple Leafs are one of my favorite teams. So I got to go to one of their games, and that was great. And then just being in community with some of my friends from the chapter. And so it was just really nice to not only learning, but then be outside of that and spend time with my friends and go to a hockey game. It was great.
Love that.
So my favorite part was meeting up with some of you guys and meeting you for the first time at the Wisconsin Southeastern. We did a little dinner appetizer thing. It gave me a chance to talk to everyone, network with people right in my own backyard. And I feel like I had made a connection to further myself within the career as well as getting more involved within AFP. I think it's funny that I had to travel all the way to Toronto to meet up with a guy who I went to high school with and I haven't talked to since high school. Shannon,
Yep.
you're
That was
friends
great.
with my daughter's teachers. I mean, it's just crazy how small knit Wisconsin and Milwaukee are, but you don't know it necessarily until you go to a completely different country. So it was very neat and interesting to meet everyone and network.
Yes.
I would also echo that I really loved meeting people from the same area that I just haven't crossed paths with yet. But I think one of my favorite things, one of the keynote speakers of the ICON conference was Nicole Hannah-Jones. She's the author of the 1619 Project, and I had read some of her stuff before and watched some of her documentaries, but just hearing her speak in the panel was really insightful. She's just really intelligent, authentic, funny. And she just had a lot of great commentary on her lived experiences and her experiences kind of backing up against fundraising and kind of shifting power dynamics in fundraising. And it was just a really great conversation to listen in on.
Awesome. I love that you brought up the keynotes because there's an opening keynote, a closing keynote. I mean, there's so much packed into just a couple of days, meeting up with everybody during lunches and passing each other. There's so much that happens. But coincidentally, very uniquely, we were in Toronto during the eclipse and we were in the path of totality. So we really appreciated that the conference organizers gave an extended break during that time. Many of the vendors passed out glasses. Did anyone step outside during that time, and what was your experience like?
It was kind of cloudy, so it wasn't probably as great as it could have been, but it was neat to be there and it was cool to be there and experience it as good as we could on a not great day for it.
I thought it was interesting. Once I figured out that it was kind of going to be cloudy, me and my coworker actually started walking back to the hotel, and we were probably 3 or 4 blocks away from the conference. And when it actually hit, you could look at the eclipse area and it was like evening, almost nighttime. And I actually called my mom, who was back here in Milwaukee, and I'm like, look at this. And I flipped the camera around. She's like, yeah, but behind you, it's bright as day. Like it was just eerie, and it was a cool experience that I may not ever get to have again. So I appreciated it.
Yeah, and the temperature dropped. Yeah, and it got a little windy and the birds were flying around. It was eerie and fun and unique. And yes, we wish it wouldn't have been overcast, but can't control that part of it. Awesome. So as we begin to close, I'd like to welcome each of you to respond to the question, what would you say to someone thinking of applying for a scholarship to attend ICON? We'll start with Shannon, then Maddie, then Kelly.
I say absolutely go for it. I think it was a really great experience. It is a lot. There are a lot of sessions, dare I say maybe too many sessions, because there were a lot of decisions to make. And sometimes it was a little bit overwhelming to try to decide which ones to go to. But it's an absolutely worthwhile experience to attend and to meet new people, either within your chapter, within your state, outside of your state, and to take away all the learnings. And it's been almost 2 months, and I think I'm still digesting everything that I've learned and all the takeaways. And I will continue to learn and use what I've learned in my practice for as long as I'm in fundraising. So it's definitely worth applying for a scholarship to attend ICON.
I would agree with what Shannon said, and I think kind of echoing what Amy said earlier, it's hard to describe the full experience. Like we can sit here and describe sessions we loved or the keynote speaker, but truly the experience is kind of what you make it, and all the people you meet walking in between sessions or in sessions and kind of connecting with them after. Like I've even been learning from some people that I connected with on LinkedIn during the conference, and they post content, or they're a consultant and they're posting best practices. So I think, like Shannon said, it's a lifelong learning from that one conference long weekend. And I think if any of that piques your interest or piques your curiosity, I think go for it, because it will definitely be a worthwhile experience.
I would say exactly what Madison and Shannon said. Apply. It doesn't hurt to try and see if you will receive a scholarship. The process was extremely quick, painless, and easy to complete. I would tell people that attending ICON is an awesome experience to see everyone from around the world get together for the greater cause. No matter what the cause is, we all want the world to be a better place.
Awesome. Thank you. I would like to mention that scholarship applications for ICON 2025, which will be in Seattle next April 27th to the 29th, will open very soon. The information will be shared in our e-newsletter, on our social media platforms, and on our website, which is afpsewi.org. Please consider applying. We hope to see you there, if not before. As a reminder, we have great education, professional development, and networking opportunities locally all throughout the year. If you have any questions, please reach out to Julie Cordero. She is our chapter administrator at chapteradmin@afpsewi.org. She will connect you to the appropriate board member or committee member if she's unable to address your inquiry. Until next time, thank you. Take care of yourselves and each other.